everyone, welcome to my channel Rayne Yoga. I'm Rayne, and I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I am so happy you're here with me. Today's video, I want to dive into yoga, taking yoga like in a studio, and with other people and the ego. So without further ado, let's begin this discussion. So I want to start by saying it is important to push yourself in a class, but to also know your body's limits and what you can and can't do, because this is going to help prevent injury. A lot of times in classes, people go to yoga to become more flexible, to be able to do all these crazy poses, headstands and back bends and all this stuff. And sometimes you're in a room with people that everyone around you is able to do this and you can't, and the ego steps in, is like, hey, you got to be able to do this too, and you force yourself into poses that you're just not actually prepared to do. And to listen to your body and to know that it's okay if you can't do it. It's okay to sit out and do a child's pose, or to maybe give it a gentle try and then sit down. And to have that compassion and love for yourself, that it's important, to leave the ego outside the door. And so many people come into a yoga class and they want to show off and they want to be able to do this and they want to be able to do that. The teacher offers blocks and they're like, oh no, I don't need blocks. And that's sad. I had a hard time when I first started yoga. I didn't ever use blocks, and I'd get frustrated with myself that I have tight hips and that I couldn't go into some of these poses, or maybe it hurt my back a little, but I would do it anyways. Like, I would force myself to do it anyways, and the teachers, they didn't use blocks in their class either, so I just assumed, well, I just need to suck it up and I need to be able to do this. And I really, really encourage people, especially in my classes, to have blocks. Have blocks near you, have props near you, and to show how to use them. Because it is not some kind of horrible thing to use a prop. It's a good thing. It's knowing your body. And the more you do it with a prop, the more you'll get closer to being able to do it without. So really, to remember to leave the ego aside. You're in yoga class for your mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. That's the purpose of yoga. And when we start getting competitive and, oh, they can do that, I can't do that. Well, why can't I do that? I should be able to do that. And pushing yourself to these limits that your body can't handle will just promote injury. And then you're not going to be able to do it at all, which would really suck, right? And then God knows what the injury would be. It couldn't just affect your yoga practice. It could be deeper. It could affect your walk. It could affect your ability to do just the everyday stuff, standing, sitting, whatever muscle you might pull or injure yourself with, or tendon, or whatever you might cause. It's now become, it's not just a yoga class issue, it's become a bigger problem. It's in your everyday, in your face issue. And just to really keep that mindfulness and love for yourself and your body, to be able to push yourself, but also understand when you need to take a step back, and to prevent those injuries, to use the props, to listen to your body. It's a beautiful thing when you're teaching a class from a teacher's standpoint and you don't even have to say grab a block or alter something, and they automatically just do it. For example, as I'm filming this video, I taught a class this morning. It was a restorative yoga class where you rest in poses for a really long period of time, kind of like yin, but yin is more resting in stretches usually for a long period of time. This is more just a surrendering and a healing. And I did have us do pigeon for a little bit, and I had a gentleman, he could go on the one side, but he knew his body that he couldn't go to the other. So he scooted his way to the wall, put his legs up on the wall, and like crossed one leg over the other and opened his hip that way. And I didn't have to say a word. I didn't have to think of any help or adjustments for him. And that he knew that's what he needed to do for himself. It didn't matter that everybody else could sit in it and lay in it and just be in it. He didn't care that he needed to look like that. He knew his body and he knew what he needed to do to feel the same stretch and take care of himself. And that's amazing, and it's very rare to see somebody have that kind of awareness. And I honor that. And so you need to too. You know, you need to not go into an Ashtanga or Vinyasa class and think you need to be able to do crow and headstand and dancing Shiva or dancer pose and be flexible and do wheel and all these things. You can take other positions that give you the same benefits without it being detrimental to your body. So like for headstand, for example, if your teacher has never given you an alternative, you know, you could go into dolphin. You could not even prep your hands for headstand. You could just keep them flat on the mat and have your hips up to the sky like downward dog, but your forearms are on the mat, and you're getting that still sensation of being upside down. And it's more deep and more shoulder strength than a downward dog, so it's like that balance in between the two. And to know your body and say, okay, I can do this, and that'll build the strength in my shoulders and give me that pelvis over shoulder feeling. Okay, there's all sorts of different variations of things you can do. Dancing Shiva, you could simply just work on your balance, holding your foot, giving a nice quad stretch, and just stay there. Maybe put your fingers in Chin Mudra and just hold and feel that feeling before you even try to push to the next level. And of course, wheel has bridge pose, which I believe most teachers say you can do just bridge and you don't have to go into the wheel. But another thing you could do if you didn't want to hold the strength of bridge again while people do wheel, you can come up into a bridge and place a block under your tailbone to have that lifted sensation without having to hold yourself up. Especially if you just don't have the strength to do it in general and you want to still participate in class, it's knowing, okay, I got the block next to me, I'm going to do this instead. It gives me the same benefits, the same sensation without overdoing it. So it's really just, my whole point here is really listen to your body and let the ego go. And know that over time, and if you are dedicated to your practice, you'll be able to do these things. Or maybe you won't. And that's okay too. Maybe your body's just not built to, or you're at a later stage in your life and you just know that your body's not going to be able to do those certain things. And to know and trust yourself to find the moments that you can bring in props to help you and to get the same sensation you would if you could do it. So that was something I really wanted to talk about today. It's just really tuning in and listening to your body and honoring your body and doing what it tells you it needs. And this is something I said today in class multiple times. If you need to come out of a pose, come out of a pose. Don't allow the ego to come pushing through and say, no, you can't come out of a pose. Everybody's holding it for 5 minutes. You need to hold it too. No, it's not true. It's not true. That's just the ego dominating and you not being fully in tune with your body. So trust yourself, listen to yourself, and allow your inner world to guide you, which is basically the name of my channel. Embrace your inner world, because it'll take you to beautiful places. Anyways, so that was the purpose of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you take this information into your yoga world, in your classes, wherever you might be. And if they don't supply blocks or have blocks or straps, maybe purchase some for yourself. They're really cheap on Amazon, and then just bring them. And you know, I'm planning on doing a class on here with blocks to show different poses and things that you can do with blocks. I do Facebook Live videos sometimes, and I always show variations with the blocks and how to use them for every pose that I go through. So that's really important to have and to trust yourself and to listen to yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here today. If you have any questions, you can comment them down below. If you want to tell me anything you might have an issue with or struggle with, I would love to help you solve it, or find some kind of way to help you solve it, or anything like that. So that would be awesome. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you know anybody that really needs to hear this. Someone you go take class with and they're just constantly overdoing it and pushing too hard, send me their way. Virtually, with video. Alright guys, thank you so much for being here. Until my next video, Namaste.